Angry protesters at the Capitol confronting police and demanding to be let inside. But this isn't Washington, D.C. This is Lansing, Michigan, a year ago. A rally organized to protest COVID restrictions, with members of the state's militia groups openly taking part.
What happened here was less violent than what took place at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. There were some scuffles and one arrest. But according to law enforcement, a seed was planted among a small group of people. A plan was taking shape to do something much, much worse.
The alleged plan was to kidnap the governor and put her on trial for treason, all because of Michigan's COVID lockdown.
When that rally took place in Lansing, I was very concerned about some of the people attending because I knew who they were.
Former U.S. Attorney Matthew Schneider was part of the state and federal investigative team, now speaking publicly about the case for the first time. They had been watching the group called the Wolverine Watchmen for a while. By the fall, more than a dozen men would be arrested for the alleged plot. One man pleaded guilty, the rest not guilty.
At what point do you switch from, okay, this is just a harebrained idea, they're just talking, to they're getting prepared to commit a crime?
Right. Well, that is the critical point for law enforcement. When I saw that the folks had actually taken some steps, for example, to go and look under a bridge to see if that was a place that they could put explosives to deter law enforcement from coming.
That this wasn't just talk.
Correct.
According to the indictment, some of the planning happened here at this unlikely home in the rural town of Munich. The group allegedly used the property for tactical training.
Target practice on the tires and that kind of thing.
Anything.
Janice Kitley is the township clerk.
What was the community's reaction to these charges?
Well, they were horrified and embarrassed.
Authorities seized an arsenal of weapons, hundreds of guns, thousands of rounds of ammunition, explosives, and artillery shells.
It's one thing to have a gun because guns are protected under the Constitution. Explosive devices are not.
Do you think a high-profile trial like this one, and potentially these defendants, if found guilty, going to prison, do you think that that will limit the number of threats out there?
Well, we can hope so.
But it sounds like you're not sure it will necessarily.
There is no doubt that there will be future acts of domestic terrorism in America. What we need to do is minimize that number, to bring that number down.
A problem, he says, not just for Michigan, but for the whole country. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, Detroit.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.